I knew it was an issue that people were really like charged about. So I expected there to be a lot of people, but I don't think any of us really expected it for it to be quite so big. I have to go. I'm not going back next year. And I'm feeling upset about watching my colleagues across the state feel burdened with these decisions of being like, I want to be there for my students. And if my students are back in the building, I cannot imagine that happening without me. Going back because of my own decision to not return, I don't feel like it's safe next year. And I feel like my school has a good plan for handling that. And I feel comfortable not going back to school. And I've spoken with my families and school leaders about that, and that's like my personal decision. But still, I feel upset on behalf of my teaching colleagues across the state that people are being made to make this decision. Yeah, so you don't want your students to end up back at school without you. You don't want your students to get something from you and bring it home to their families. You don't want your family to get something that you've brought home from your students. And just like as a citizen of Rhode Island, it's a bad move to have schools open. So nationwide, there's a movement called Refuse to Return, and they're demanding that it's like county specific, but counties nationwide are organizing together to say that they won't return until there are 14 days, no new cases in their county. I think as our Rhode Island group, we've really thought hard about what we feel comfortable demanding. And right now what we're saying that we want these plans to be reviewed and signed off on by either Dr. Alexander Scott or another healthcare professional. We want them to be reviewed and signed off on by somebody with an equity lens, because we feel like the plans are very inequitable. Like right now, there's districts that are offering transportation only through bus lotteries. The plan in Providence is much more dangerous than the plans that some of these other districts are releasing. So we want the plans to be reviewed with an equity lens. We want there to be a phased reopening that prioritizes kids who have high support ed plans. So these are the things that we're asking for right now, and we're really, schools need to start 100% distance learning on August 31st, because no school in Rhode Island right now is ready resource-wise or otherwise to make this, to reopen on August 31st. So we want that decision to be made soon, because all of this time that districts and teachers are spending right now trying to procure PPE, trying to like invent solutions so that each kid has a plexiglass divider, it's wasting valuable time that we could have to make distance learning better. Distance learning did not go well in the spring. Any educator or parent will tell you that. I watched too many times of school decisions be made for kids and teachers by somebody who's not in a classroom. And what happens is that these plans get implemented, and on day one, they're a mess. And it negatively affects the teachers and students in the building. And I feel like if the plans are not safe, we're not going to find out until things go wrong when schools reopen. What I mostly hear from teachers is that that's what they want, but they feel like they have to go back because teachers are not, the teachers that I know and are in my circles are not in the position to just quit their job next year. And I think a lot of teachers who are union members are worried about breaking their teaching contract and are worried that they're going to be put in a position where they're left to either choose their own safety or their paycheck. I just think that more than anything, like, people just have a lot of questions right now. Like, what about me, what about as a parent, like, if I need childcare because I have to go back to work in the fall? What about me? It's expensive for my family to have someone stay home with my kid in the fall. We have questions about things that we need the government to do to make sure that everybody's taken care of in the fall. And we need the government to take the time now to start thinking about those things, like extending rent and utility moratoriums, thinking about affordable housing, thinking about flexible unemployment, thinking about stimulus packages that go into the pockets of people who are maybe going to not be able to return to work in the fall because their kids will be home. And the more time that we spend spinning our wheels about reopening schools, the less time and money that we have to do those things and to take care of those people.